Today I'll be doing a full driving review on this 2023 Hyundai Ioniq 6 SEL. It is the dual motor long range model with 20-inch alloy wheels. So it gives you 270 miles of range and 320 horsepower out of its 77 kilowatt battery packs. This one comes equipped with the active front grille shutters, so they open and close for aerodynamics. These are your 20-inch wheels. You will see that the car has flush door handles and the proximity key, so just as you walk up to it, the door unlocks. But this right here, that's how you lock the car, and you can also unlock it from here. Coming to the back, this is your rear spoiler and lights. The lights are these digital designs, which is awesome. It's a power lift gate. Power lift gate on a sedan is not something that you normally see. Hyundai went pretty above and beyond. Some safety features that it has is the forward collision warning, your blind spot warning, lane keep assist. It has the driver attention warning, parking distance warning, mainly any type of warning you can think of around the car. The Hyundai Ioniq 6 SEL has that. It does have smart cruise control, which is awesome. The car will slow down if the car in front of you is going slower and speed back up after it passes by. Going on into the inside of the vehicle. The inside is a gorgeous interior. The leather wrapped steering wheel has a flat bottom, pretty open design. It has these nice grips around it. You have dual 12.3-inch displays, a wireless charging pad. As you see, since there's no center drivetrain, you have tons of storage underneath your center console area. These are leather seats that are both heated. Coming to the back, I think you'll be pretty amazed on how much rear seat legroom there is in the back of the Ioniq 6. It's more than you'll see in most normal SUVs, and there's no rear hump here because of that center drivetrain not being a thing, since it is an electric vehicle. Now let's start it up. As you can tell, it is completely quiet because it is an electric vehicle. We are on 69% battery life, and we have 213 miles of range. The screens are both very flat, so they kind of just seamlessly move into one another. You have different drive modes. You have normal, sport, and eco. For the majority of the driving, I'll probably keep it in normal, and at some point I'll put it into sport to see what that feels like. Your shifter is something that's not very normal, so you turn this to go into drive. One little click, you're in neutral, and once again you are then in reverse. Reverse, you kind of feel a double click, like that's neutral, and double click goes into reverse, so you can't really miss it. You just do it all the way. And park is a button right here. You have ambient lighting on the interior vehicle. It's kind of sunny out, so it's hard to tell, but you do have ambient lighting all throughout the vehicle. Two things actually quickly before I do head out is, one, I thought this key was actually like quite ugly at first. I mean, it is still kind of a big key, but when I mentioned it to a salesman, I learned that it's glow in the dark, and it's a glow in the dark Hyundai logo. At first I did not realize that that was the Hyundai logo. I was looking at it like this and I just didn't make it out. Now that's all I see when I look at it. Now that I know it, all I see is that it's a Hyundai logo, and it is glow in the dark. And the other thing is about the Apple CarPlay. I was trying to connect the Apple CarPlay with the USB-C port, because that's just usually what I use, but it would not connect using the USB-C. So unless I was just doing something wrong, you will need a USB-A with you to connect to the Apple CarPlay. The Apple CarPlay does look great on here. It really does. It looks phenomenal. It's a big screen, 12.3-inch display, so it does look great. But that's that. Now I will be getting on the road. Where I'm going is only 5 minutes away. It's called Myers Old Dutch. It is a great hamburger spot in the city of Beacon, so I'm getting myself a cheeseburger with fries. It's very smooth. I had recently did a review on a 4xe Wrangler, and I thought that was a smooth acceleration, but a full electric car, all I gotta say is wow. Going around my first real bend, the Ioniq 6, it has tight steering. So it has a sporty feel to the steering, which is great. I love tight steering. I don't really like cars that have a very loose feel to the steering wheel. The leather is very soft. These notches in the steering wheel are extremely comfortable to hold on to. One thing I did notice is the four little, I'm gonna have to search up because I'm not sure why they did this. It's like on the Ioniq 5 too. It's just these four little dots. They're illuminated. That I didn't realize is that they're illuminated, which is pretty cool. I like looking at that. But there is some sort of, it's like a futuristic spacey noise going on, but I've only really heard it at very low speeds. I'm turning onto Main Street in Beacon, so this is where I might deal with some certain type of city driving like all electric cars do. It has regenerative braking. This has paddle shifters for regen braking, and they actually allow you to slow down the car even more with paddles. And I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sure what I actually did just do, but it stopped completely to 0 miles an hour with using the paddle shifters. Okay, so now I'm realizing, looking at the pedals, like while using the regen pedals, next to your battery life, there's the regen logo, and it says either level 0. When you hit it down for regen braking is level 1. You hit it again, you're in level 2. You hit it again, you're in level 3, and it goes all the way to level 4. And this says I pedal, and this is what I was in. The I pedal on popped up. This is one pedal driving. The car will slow itself all the way down. I actually do remember this when we were at the auto show. It wasn't in the Ioniq 6. I don't believe it was in the Ioniq 6, but it was what the person from the manufacturer had explained to us when we were on one of the test drives in the auto shows, that it was one pedal driving. The car will slow itself down completely. You do not have to use the brakes. Once we get to Myers Old Dutch, which will be there in 1 minute, we're only 500 feet away. I'm very curious on how it's going to really slow down when I'm trying to actually come to a complete stop. So when I was parallel parking, I did not hit the up on the regenerative braking to make it go up. But what I did do is, I think as soon as I hit the brake pedal, it put it into the level 3 for regenerative braking. So that is something that later on I'll have to see if it does that again. Oh, I want to search up what are the 4 dots for on the steering wheel. Wow, okay, so that's not what I would have expected. So the 4 dots on the steering wheel of the Ioniq 6 and the Ioniq 5, Hyundai added those actually because that's Morse code for the letter H, which is what would normally appear on the steering wheel, is the letter H for Hyundai. So those 4 dots are actually Morse code for Hyundai. So that's a cool little thing to know. It's like on Jeeps, there's Easter eggs. This is almost like an Easter egg on a Hyundai. I love it. So I have picked up my food. It's a cheeseburger. This is Myers Old Dutch. It's on Main Street in Beacon. Beacon is a little beautiful city. It is very new. A lot of, well, it's not a new city, but a lot of new construction and building has gone on. And to quickly summarize my driving on the quick 5-minute trip from our Healy Hyundai store to Myers Old Dutch, the biggest thing was obviously the smoothness of the electric car, but on top of that was I got to search up exactly what kind of regenerative braking they call it, but the fact they were able to either lower the amount of regenerative braking or increase it was pretty cool. And going all the way to max level, which is level 4, allows it to be, what I'm pretty sure, which I'll test out more, is one pedal driving. I think that was an amazing thing, was the one pedal driving. So I'm plugging in Apple CarPlay. Apple CarPlay, not only does it look pretty cool, but in my opinion, it's honestly a safety feature. It'll stop people from looking at their phone while they are driving, and it'll keep their eyes, even if it's not on the road, at least you're only glancing at your infotainment display and not putting your head all the way down to text. I am going to put the regenerative braking at level 1. I guess we'll put it in level 1. Into reverse, you turn it back. Level 1 is definitely there. Maybe you don't feel it as much. As soon as you kick it into level 2, you immediately feel it a lot more. So level 3 regenerative braking stops pretty quickly. It gets you stopped, I don't want to say at a halt, but a lot. You didn't really have to brake all that much until the end. I am now going to put it to max, And on max, this is what I thought, it's one pedal driving. I'm currently don't have my foot on the gas or the brake, and the car does not move. I'm turning on to 84 now. With the I-pedal driving, there is absolutely no need for a brake pedal. Now, getting up to speed on this on-ramp, very comfortable. Since you don't have your normal transmission or anything like that, very comfortable. So I am turning off the I-pedal driving on the highway. That is a little bit annoying because it slows down very quickly. Even level 3 is a little too much. Let's see what level 2 is like. Level 2 is a little bit too much. Level 1's not bad, but if you're not going to be using cruise control, I do probably recommend level 0 on the regenerative braking. Because if you're not using cruise control, you know, you're a little bit on and off of your gas or your accelerator. Not gas, there's no gas in this vehicle, but you're a little on and off your accelerator. So that coming, stopping, and whatnot, that can be a little bit frustrating. Something I do want to use, so this is, let's see. Oh wow, I guess I didn't read the window sticker exactly. This has, if I'm not mistaken, is this steer on its own on the highway? I wish I would have gotten a notification on the infotainment screen saying exactly what that is called. But it seems like this will drive itself on the highway. I know with Teslas and their self-driving on the highway and everything, you do still need to keep your hands on the steering wheel. I have my hands off the steering wheel right now, and it's a slight bend in the road, and it is indeed steering itself. That is pretty cool. That's the first time that I've ever actually noticed that or driven that. I've never done that before. And as you do see, there is the notification that just said keep your hands on the steering wheel. So I was correct. You do still need to keep your hands on the steering wheel for this, but it will steer itself. So that's pretty awesome. When the car just drove up behind me on the infotainment display, there was it showed, and it's still pretty far ahead of me, but it still shows it. It shows you have, I guess, a lane to the left of you and a lane to the right of you, and it shows you the object driving up on the side of you. It shows it going past, like the shape of a car, and it showed you red dots near your rear corner panel, letting you know, like, hey, there's someone coming up. And I just now saw it when I moved over for someone to get on the highway. It did call it lane keep assist. That's what it referred to it as. So when you first turn it on, I am going to get back over again. When you turn it on, you can see there's some lines in the, like, green lines letting you know you're in the middle of the lane. And when you first hit the button, it picks up on it, and then it will turn the lane keep assist on. And between the side view mirrors popping up and you seeing it on your infotainment display, you can be comfortable changing lanes at all times. You can't come off of it and just hold the steering wheel here. You do have to keep your hands on the steering wheel at these two positions, or it will pop up telling you keep your hands on the steering wheel. I want to see what the pickup is, the acceleration of this vehicle, so I put it into sport mode. But I did notice when you put it into sport mode, as you click drive mode, these lights, when you go into eco, they blink green, like from left to right they go green. When you put it into normal, it just does it in white left to right. And when you put it in sport, they go red left to right. It does always go back to the white, but you see it. And it says if you hold down the drive mode button, it goes into snow driving mode, which is good to know. When you put it into sport mode, it shows you torque, like your torque, but let's see, I'm going to give this a little bit of acceleration. Oh wow. Now that was instantaneous torque, instantaneous horsepower. That was quite something else. But now I'm going to put it back into normal driving mode, set my cruise control, and have lane keep assist on, and now we're comfortable. We are about to get off our exit. We're taking the Taconic State Parkway. Looking over my right shoulder, to get into the off-ramp, I can say that there aren't really any blind spots. I wasn't able to see it looking over my left shoulder because of the window sticker, but there definitely aren't any blind spots. Putting it into level 1, regenerative braking, getting off the highway is nice, because that allows the car to slow down more smoothly. So now something I'm going to turn back on is the cruise control, turn on the lane keep assist. The Ioniq is more windy than I-84 is, and so far it's been taking the turns very well. I have no worries. It's not like it waits to the last minute or anything. It does it when it should. To change your song and to change your volume, you have a button here that shows up and down. Pressing up goes to the next song, pressing down goes to the previous song, and then you have it's not a button, it's like a wheel. Up puts the volume up, going down on it puts the volume down. So there is someone driving below the speed limit in front of me, and the smart cruise control slowed down from the 56 miles per hour that I have the cruise control set to. It slowed down from that, and we are now doing 44. I'm going to get off on this, which is called Rossway Road. I'm not sure where this leads. So now this is back road driving. Obviously, cruise control is off, lane keep assist is off. I'm going to up the regenerative braking actually, because I want to see what the one pedal driving is like, or I pedal on a back road. Coming around turns in the road, you do not have to hit your brakes at all. I'm coming to a stop sign, and the car with I pedal driving on stops completely. You do not have to use your brake pedal. Even on back roads, the smoothness of this ride is phenomenal. It is very, very comfortable. The tightness to the steering wheel is very nice on windy back roads. Below the speed limit, it let me know that there was a turn coming in the road. Like, it popped up with a yellow sign with a turn to it, so it let me know that there was a turn coming in the road. So there's a giant school at our right, which I attended this giant school. It is called Arlington High School. Arlington is a large school district. My graduating class was somewhere near the 900 range, but we are approaching the first roundabout, and like I said, the car will come to a complete stop with the I-pedal driving. So going around the roundabouts is a breeze, and I do really like being able to grab the flat bottom of the steering wheel to go around the turns. That like cybery, spacey, like futuristic sound, you definitely only hear when you're getting close to a stop. You don't hear it when you're on the accelerator. It pops up with the roundabout logo, a roundabout sign when you're approaching one underneath there. So Freedom Plains Roads, Route 55 is actually a little bit of a bumpy road. They only pave like near the white line of it when it needed to get done. And I don't know if they just didn't do a great job or whatnot. So it's actually not a very smooth road, but the Ioniq 6 is very smooth. It's been very comfortable. Obviously you can feel it slightly, but in other cars I've driven, in my personal vehicle that I've driven, you feel those a lot more than I have in this Ioniq 6. So Hyundai definitely did a great job with whatever they did with the suspension. Somewhere I'm going to stop again. I stopped here in the last video I did, was Ready Coffee. This might be a weird combination because I do still need to eat my cheeseburger and fries from Meyer's Old Dutch, but I'm going to stop and get myself a coffee. But to summarize today's trip, the regenerative braking, being able to put it on 4 different levels, level 1, 2, 3, and 4, is pretty cool. That lets you decide how much you want the car to slow down in its own, but putting it all the way to the max level, level 4, which puts it into I-pedal driving, and it will come to a complete stop. So that is one pedal driving. You do not have to touch the brakes unless in an absolute emergency. That is awesome. Able to go around roundabouts with it, turns, it stops completely at a stop sign or a traffic light. It's awesome. When you are putting it into reverse, you do have to put your foot on the brake to put it into reverse, but that's not a big deal. On the highway, using the smart cruise control paired with the lane keep assist is unbelievably comfortable. The car pretty much turns itself on the highway, or I shouldn't say pretty much, it does turn itself on the highway. It slows down and speeds up with its own cruise control. If someone's in front of you, on your infotainment display, your digital gauge cluster in front of you, you have a left and a right lane that show you objects driving past you. So between that collision warning and the one that's in your side view mirror, you basically have no worries of changing lanes because you could tell whenever somebody is behind you. So that is awesome. I got no complaints about the car in sport mode and in normal mode, but in sport mode, the acceleration on the vehicle is amazing. I wish I could have gone full throttle, but I'm not going to do that in the brand new vehicle. But even on like half throttle, that acceleration was amazing. So that is it for today. So today is the next morning that I'm driving the 2023 Hyundai Ioniq 6. The resolution of the backup camera is pretty clear on the car. It's better than most. I'll show you that when we stop. It is definitely better than most. Starting off the morning, I love the shifter. Some people might think it's weird, but it's better than using back and forth shifter in my opinion. Maybe it would have been a little bit more convenient if it was on the console, like how Ford style shifter is. But I would say, I'm assuming Hyundai put this in the position on the column because that makes their like kind of electronic dial shifter technology a little bit different from their competitors. The acceleration is super comfortable getting up to speed, just so smooth. It's something you will not feel in a gas car. You will only feel that in electric vehicles. I'm gonna get my coffee. I do realize that after turning off the car, I might have said this yesterday, I might have not, if I can't remember exactly. The max regen braking does turn off after turning the car off. So that's something to keep in mind, that when you get in the car, you just have to hit the paddle shifter on the left to go from level 3 to max, which is the I-pedal driving. My life be like, on the right-hand side of your gauge cluster, digital gauge cluster, you see that it says power, and then behind it says charge, and there's a line that separates it. So when you're on the accelerator, it goes past the line this way to let you know how much you're on the accelerator, and then when you're coming off of it, it goes this way to let you know that the car is regenerating using the regen braking. That's why it says charge. And in between those is where it actually does say your battery life, where it says I have 158 miles to go on 53% battery. Underneath the speed limit on the gauge cluster popped up with a sign of what it looks like a parent walking with a child pops up under your speed limit. So I really like that. So I'm about to turn right onto Fishkill Avenue. If you do turn left, you will see our new Hyundai facility that's being built. That store is huge. It's going to be gorgeous. So I can't wait until that is done. I know once you see what that facility is going to look like, I know you won't be able to wait until you can come and get your service done if you do buy a Hyundai Ioniq 6 like this one. So we're here, I'm at the Hyundai store. This is just about the end of the trip. Actually, one thing that I do want to show you guys is the backup camera so you can see the clarity of it. So like I said, you pull down on it to go into reverse. This is your backup camera. The clarity on it is pretty awesome. As you see, your sensors pull up here, your sensors pull up here. It's got a very loud beep to let you know that you're close to something. So between your digital gauge cluster and here on your infotainment display, you can see everything, and it's got great clarity. This is the end of our trip with this Ioniq 6, but as you can see, we have a ton of Ioniq 6s on our lineup. Some of them are Ioniq 5s, so these are all the Ioniq 6s we have. And here behind us are more Ioniq 5s, so we have even more Ioniq 5s than we do Ioniq 6s. I will do a review on these in one of my next videos. So that is it. Our Hyundai facility is behind us, right across the store. So let me know what any other cars that you might want to review on. Not only do we sell Hyundais, we have 2 Chevy locations, 2 Ford locations, a Kia location, our Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram location, a Lincoln store, which is our new store. It's a Lincoln Black Label store. It's gorgeous. And we have a Mitsubishi location. So there are so many vehicles that we will be able to do reviews on you that you might be interested. So that's it. That's the end of our trip. Until next time.